Did you know that a single act of disrespect changed the destiny of entire generations? The story of Ham, Noah's son, is not just a biblical account, but a powerful lesson about honor, choices, and the eternal impact of our actions. Stay with me until the end to discover what this story can teach us today. Welcome to the Guardians of the Word of God. After the flood, the world had been transformed into a vast and silent space of reconstruction. Noah and his family, the sole survivors, emerged from the ark with the divine mission of repopulating the earth. The scene was one of renewal, but also of great responsibility. The waters had cleansed the world's wickedness, and now it was up to Noah's family to bring about new beginnings and restore order to God's creation. Noah, a man of unwavering faith, was the spiritual and practical leader of this rebirth. His sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, played important roles in this mission, each contributing with their unique abilities and characteristics. Among them, Ham, the second son, stood out as someone with an adventurous and restless spirit, yet he was also rebellious and inclined to question established orders and traditions. Ham was a man full of curiosity, always eager to push boundaries. While his brothers often demonstrated respect and obedience to their father's leadership, Ham seemed driven by a desire to challenge the known and explore the unknown. In the years following the flood, Noah and his family worked to establish communities in fertile lands. Reconstruction was arduous, but also filled with hope. Among these efforts, Noah dedicated himself to agriculture and became an experienced farmer. He planted vineyards, cared for the soil, and eventually learned to produce wine. It was a new phase for humanity, marked by hard work and celebrations of the fruits of their labor. It was in this context that an event occurred, altering the course of Ham's story and his lineage. After a particularly abundant harvest, Noah decided to celebrate with the wine he had produced. However, he was unaware of the strength of this fermented drink. After drinking, Noah became intoxicated and fell into a deep sleep inside his tent, lying exposed on the ground. This moment of vulnerability would become the starting point for one of the most significant episodes in the Bible. Ham, upon entering the tent to attend to daily matters, found his father in this state. The sight of Noah, a revered leader, lying in disarray should have prompted discretion and respect. But Ham chose a different path. He looked at his father with disdain, reacting with mockery and a lack of compassion. What should have been a moment of modesty turned into an act of dishonor. Ham left the tent without covering Noah and immediately sought out his brothers, Shem and Japheth, to recount what he had seen. His words were laced with sarcasm and scorn, reflecting rebellion and contempt for the paternal figure. Shem and Japheth, upon hearing Ham's account, reacted in the opposite way. Horrified by their brother's disrespect, they decided to act with reverence. They took a cloak and, walking backward to avoid looking at Noah's nakedness, entered the tent and covered their father. This gesture, simple yet powerful, was a demonstration of love, respect, and honor, fundamental values in the divine order established by God. When Noah awoke and learned what had happened, his reaction was one of indignation and sorrow. He realized that Ham's actions were not merely a personal affront, but a sign of disrespect for the principles that upheld the family and God's order. In a moment of indignation, Noah pronounced a curse. Surprisingly, he did not curse Ham directly, but his youngest son, Canaan. The declaration was emphatic. "Cursed be Canaan. He will be the lowest of slaves to his brothers." This decision has been widely debated. Some scholars believe that Noah, in his wisdom, saw in Canaan the same tendencies of disrespect and rebellion displayed by Ham. Others suggest that, in the culture of the time, cursing one's descendants was considered a more severe form of punishment, as it affected a person's legacy and future. The curse upon Canaan had profound consequences. Canaan and his descendants, known as the Canaanites, often became enemies of the Israelites, the descendants of Shem. The conflicts between these lineages marked biblical narratives, culminating in episodes such as Joshua's conquest of the Promised Land. However, it is important to remember that the curse of Canaan was not irrevocable. Throughout the Bible, we see examples of redemption, such as Rahab, a Canaanite woman who demonstrated faith and became part of Jesus Christ's lineage. This reminds us that even amid judgment, God's grace is always present. Despite the negative consequences of Ham's actions, His descendants played significant roles in human history. Ham had 4 sons: Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Each of them founded great nations and civilizations that deeply influenced the course of history. Cush is associated with Ethiopia and powerful kingdoms in Sudan, known for their cultural and spiritual wealth. Mizraim gave rise to Egypt, one of the most advanced civilizations of antiquity, responsible for innovations in architecture, science, and governance. Put, linked to North African peoples, contributed to the formation of diverse cultures in that region. Canaan, despite his curse, was the territory where city-states were established, directly influencing biblical history. This story teaches us profound lessons about the consequences of our choices and the possibility of redemption. Even in the face of an act of disrespect, God continued to work through Ham's lineage, using his descendants to shape human history. It shows us that, even when we fail, his grace is sufficient to turn mistakes into greater purposes. Ham's narrative is a reminder that honor and respect are essential, but God's love is greater than any human failing. The story of Ham is not merely a warning about the dangers of disrespect, but also a message of hope and redemption. It reminds us that even in our most challenging moments, God is present, guiding and shaping our paths. Just as he used Ham's descendants for great purposes, he can also use our lives to fulfill his divine plan. I'm sure Ham's story has shocked you with its negative turn, but the story of Keturah, Abraham's often forgotten wife, is an example of redemption and dedication to her husband and to God. I'll see you in that video here at the Guardians of the Word of God.